Hello everyone, and welcome to my foolproof guide on how to run Halls of the Eclipse. Now that doesn't mean that following this guide step by step will make it so that you won't ever die in this dungeon, but I am confident that it will help you get better at running this. One thing to keep in mind though is, these ads hit quite a lot, so make sure you dodge them. I am running this on my ranger, but the principles stand for any class, particularly ranged ones, like mages or priests. Now, as I said before, the monsters in here hit for quite a lot, so take your time, don't rush, and make sure you dodge all your attacks. The war chiefs in particular, when they jump up and smash the ground underneath them. This is an abyssal dungeon, which means if you have no scrolls or no seeds to pick yourself back up, then don't queue the dungeon. Now for the first part is pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, just kill and dodge. But this next bit, you have to operate the lever in order for you to raise the gate and pass through after this little cutscene. If these large droplets fall on you, they'll stagger you and knock you backwards, but if you roll onto a dry patch, you'll be fine. After this, it's just more of the same. Just take your time with the ads, don't get hit, and if you have a berserker or a crusader in your party, let them grab all these monsters up ahead and bunch them up together. That way mages and rangers can simply AHoE them down. I've sped up this next bit because it's simply just more of the same. If you're curious what kind of setup I'm using on my ranger, I'll leave a card in the description that will take you to another video that explains in great detail what kind of gear I'm using, which blessings, and how to use them properly. This next part can be particularly frustrating for new players, because if you don't have enough defense, these mushrooms will hit you for quite a lot, and just like the droplets earlier, they knock you backwards, which can be deadly if you get pushed into another mushroom and another mushroom. So just be very careful when you do this, and make sure you have a potion on hand. Right, so this is the first boss of AHoE. He has a few different attacks, but if you're running with a decent party, he shouldn't give you too much trouble. One of the attacks that you need to always look out for is his twin waves. It's very similar to one of Gideon's attacks, which means you can easily anticipate it even though it comes in at an arc. You do have to be careful because it does knock you down if it hits you. Now when you see him raising his hands like this, it means that two of the party members will have one flame and one water icon above their heads, and that means they have to meet up and spawn the little vortex. In this case, it just so happened that they were right next to each other, so the vortex simply spawned where they were. Those little tornadoes makes it so that the water parts when it hits him, giving you a little gap that you can squeeze through. If you get hit by it, you're instantly dead. So it's very important to find out who has the icons, and to make sure you spawn the tornadoes on both sides of the boss. Otherwise, you can get a squad wipe, because afterwards the waves are going to come from both sides, so you need to have enough time to squeeze through one and then the second one. Now the second boss can be pretty tricky, but you can do it flawlessly if you have enough practice. On the left you have Kimatsu, or as I call him, the kicker, and the right one is Citrus, or priest. So typically the person that has the least DPS usually picks up the kicker and drags him away from everybody while they DPS down the priest. At some point when his health drops low, he's gonna ask for the other guy's help. So he's gonna get an impenetrable shield, and the other one is gonna help him out by just jumping all over the place. The easiest way that I found to evade the kicker's attack is to simply go to one corner of the arena and look out for where his shadows are gonna be and make sure you're not in their path. After he jumps a few times all over the place, the person with the least DPS is gonna pick him up again, and you just focus on the priest. So always be aware of where the kicker is and when the priest is gonna shout for help. When you're dodging the kicker's attack, simply keep an eye out on the priest, because he shoots these fireballs and they can knock you back and do a lot of damage. If they do hit somebody, it's gonna leave a little fire pit and it damages whoever goes through it. So simply stick to the side walls and DPS down the priest as quick as possible. Once the priest dies, Timatsu the kicker is gonna spawn fire all over the arena except one little circle in the center of it. So as soon as you kill the priest, make sure you go to the center of the arena and be ready to dodge. His attacks are very easy to predict too. You'll see that he swings his sword in front of him. So if you tend to stay behind him, you won't get hit. He only has one attack that hits around him, and you can just dodge when you see it. At some point, he's gonna lose his nerve and go in the fire and do a mini version of what he was doing earlier when the priest was asking for his help. He's gonna send himself towards the middle, and then after he's passed, he's gonna send in the shadows. So if you place yourself to one side, just when he's about to hit you, simply roll forwards and place yourself in the center so that the shadows don't hit you. Every now and then he's gonna kick forwards and put a reflect shield on himself. Obviously if you hit that, you're likely to die. But if you have a good party with enough DPS, he shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just don't stay in front of him and try to be careful not to roll out into the fire. Remember, if you die here, it's very unlikely for somebody to pick you back up because there's so many things going on. So just use a scroll or seeds and get back up. Once you've killed him, get ready to face the last boss, which I think is much easier than the second one. He has a few normal attacks, which mainly involve him slapping its tail, so they're very easy to telegraph and dodge. He will spit a bit of poison in front of him, so make sure you don't sit in it. One attack that you won't see in this video, because we killed him so quickly, is him raising his hands and rushing towards somebody in your party. So if you do see him raising his hands, simply get ready to dodge. At some point, he's gonna have a little cutscene and spawn a sacrifice frog. When he does this for the first time, a little priest is gonna spawn to the right of him, so whoever has the least DPS usually picks him up and interrupts him while everybody else focuses on the frog. If he eats the frog, he'll just get some health back. Once the offering is dealt with, finish off the priest and make sure you dodge the things falling from above because he gets very frustrated for not eating. He'll do 3 offerings before dying, so as soon as you see him saying that he roars in hunger, make sure you're ready to face the offering and the priest. On his last offering though, he spawns 2 priests to each side. One of them heals, while the other one just does a big firebolt on the middle. So make sure somebody's heating the priests and focus down the offering. And once everything's dealt with, just DPS the boss down and kill him. Just to be aware that a lot of the parties, if they have a lot of DPS, they will simply ignore the last offering and just kill the boss before he eats the offering. And that concludes the video for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hopefully it would have clarified some things for you. But if you liked it, make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Enjoy the rest of the video, and hopefully this would save you a few resurrection scrolls. Take care.